Cliff Hikers, Tales of Lake Mauvais. Greed. It can often help you tell the good apples from the rotten ones. Hiya campers, this is Cliff Hiker, and tonight's tale has this wormy characteristic at its core. So drink down your bug juice and zip up your sleeping sack, because this one's going to have a little bite to it. I call this one the Apple Doll.
Some folks will do anything to get what they want. Lie, cheat, steal, or outright kill. I thought my son Cortland was greedy, until I met that woman. My pappy started a pear orchard near Lake Mauvais. It was successful, and my pappy hoped his son would continue the business. Problem was, he never had a son. Just me, his one and only daughter. I love pears. Some people even says I look like one. When I met Cortland's daddy, Mr. Smith, I told my pappy we would keep the orchard going.
I'm your heir apparent.
When we got hitched and took over, we had some trouble, both with the pears and making a son. Cortland's daddy switched half the orchard to apples. But it took a lot of his time and energy. We finally got around to making Cortland. I was getting on in age. That said, he came out perfect. All except one thing. He loved apples, not pears. They say the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, but in this case it jumped to another tree entirely. When Mr. Smith passed on, Cortland took over the orchard, but he changed all the pear trees out to apples. Ain't you like pears at all?
Just you, Mom.
When life gives you apples, sometimes you got to make the best of it. So I did. I took the apple discards and made apple doll heads. I pile up the discards into an old fancy bowl that were in my family for many years. Cortland was always fascinated by the bowl. Wanted to eat apple soup out of it. It had a deadly lead glaze on it though. When heated, the glaze was poisonous. That didn't matter none though for apple dolls. No one was going to eat them. So I took apples out of it, and took my revenge against rude customers out on the apples. Many times snotty tourist women would come in and give backhanded comments like,
I hope when I'm as old as she is, my hands are still that active.
Or,
what a skill at such an age.
I would just grin at their judging jaws and carve their likenesses, claws and all, into the apples. The apples naturally gave the carvings wrinkles. The next year, I put the carvings on display, and when the women returned, I would snicker to myself as the women looked even more like their carvings. It was like magic. Cortland worked hard, even harder than his daddy. His orchard was big and healthy, and he was proud of all the apples. But I didn't think he would ever find himself a lady to make a son or daughter. He was so fussy. I wanted him to find a lady like me, but his mind was only on apples. That all changed on Columbus Day, when she entered the picture. I did not like her from the start. Red dress like she was off to a gala. Lips as red as a Jezebel. Milky white skin. And hair that sat piled like a stem on her head.
Can I help with something?
My name is Janet McIntosh. My husband and I are new in town, just a little over a month now. In fact, we live just down the road. We're renting for the time.
Nice to meet you.
I could tell Cortland was all bushled for her. He thought she was a real doll, but she was more of a dollar than a doll to me. For a brown-eyed girl, her eyes looked awfully green.
Wow. That's a lot of money. Business must be really good.
We like to please our customers. Could I interest you in a sample? On the house, of course.
Ah, that's so sweet.
Cortland just drank her in like a gallon of cider. But then he said,
Why don't you come to our house for dinner tonight?
I'd really like that, Cortland.
that made one of us.
See you soon.
You may say I'm paranoid, but I didn't like her one bit. She and her husband showed up later that night. The greed was already apparent.
What a beautiful home you have. I wish my home were half as nice.
I tried to steer the conversation to them. What a lovely pair you and your husband make. Cortland didn't like it when I said this. Frankly, neither did she.
This is Malcolm. Malcolm, this is Cortland. And his grandmother.
Mother,
Anywho, I used the apples you gave me and made you a pie for dessert. A sweetie pie for a sweetie pie.
but I made brandied pear tarts for dessert.
Now, Mama, the guest is always right.
That husband of hers didn't say a word through dinner. It was like neither he and I
I've
were
always
even
wanted to
there.
run my own business,
But Lord,
but
could that
Malcolm
girl
Baldwin
talk
can't
and
earn
talk
enough
and
to help
talk.
me out, so I've had to
All
take
about
part-time
herself,
work, which I love.
her
It would be
dreams.
so cool to run my own business like that Apple store that you have.
She didn't let up, even after dinner.
Do you want your dessert now, my little sweetie?
I'll get it for him.
No worries. I like doing things for Cortland.
She made me feel like a visitor in my own kitchen. Cortland was so greedy he nearly ate that whole pie himself. About a week later, Cortland told me the husband came to visit him one cold night. Trouble in paradise, I guess.
Howdy there, Malcolm. Can I help you with something?
Yeah, I'm just out for a walk. Letting go some steam.
Well, don't let off too much. It's pretty cold out here.
Yeah, Janet and I had a fight.
Why don't you come in and get a hot cup of cider?
I don't want to be in any trouble.
Janet will want me to take care of you.
Sometimes she just gets into these moods. Always wants more. More money, better apartment, now a house.
Just give me a second to get a little cider warmed up here.
Oh, don't go to any trouble for me.
No trouble at all. Even got a special bowl for just such a thing.
Okay, guy. This is a nice store you got here. Janet really likes it. Must be hard work.
Hardest part is getting rid of pests. But I think I got that under control now. Here you go.
Oh, wow, looks great. To your health.
The husband got sick and died a few days later. Doctors weren't sure. Thought maybe pneumonia or a flu or a parasite. Well, it weren't much longer till I think you can guess what happened.
Oh my God. Yes.
And that little hussy didn't wait for the wedding before she moved herself right in. All that winter she talked and talked just as sweet as a candied apple to Cortland. But not of the wedding. Of all the changes she wanted to make to the store in the spring. That girl was so full of ideas I thought she'd start having
I
the
think we should
apple
rename
runs
the store
out the other
Janet's
end.
Farm Store. It will make it sound a lot more attractive.
No matter how bitter I felt toward her, she was the apple of Cortland's eye. He would do anything she asked. The next season, Cortland worked harder than ever. We had a massive bumper crop. And to her credit, that little apple tart did a good job selling all of them. Especially to males. I have never seen men open their wallets faster for Apple products. Little did they know her beauty was only skin deep. But making all that money wasn't enough for her. She had to pare down my only remaining joy.
What do you have there, Granny Smith?
Just my discards.
Discards. Why? These are perfectly good apples. I can sell these for baking.
But
I won't have you frittering away our profits. You can keep two. Be glad you got those.
and then she decided to pit Cortland against me.
Cortland, sweetie, it's about your mother. She's starting to get underfoot. I think she'd be better off in a home.
Other than her own?
Sweetie, she's so old. Plus, we could really use her spare bro.
I think Cortland was imagining little apple dumplings. But if he was, I am surprised he didn't think of me as a live-in au pair.
Pack your bags, Granny. I got Cortland to sign the papers. You're shipping out tomorrow. This will make a great office for me.
You can't do this to me.
I already have. Tomorrow, Granny Smith. You better be prepared.
I had lost the battle, but the war wasn't over quite yet.
Now I feel guilty about putting Mama into that home.
Guilty. I was so proud of you today, sweetie. You did the right thing. Here. Have some hot apple cider. I warmed it up just for you.
Thanks, my little apple doll. Maybe now we can get married and have some dumplings. I don't feel so good.
Did you really think I was going to share all that money with you? My dear, sweet, stupid Cortland. But I need my beauty rest now. I'll clean you up in the morning and alert the police. Rise and shine. Time to make more money. What's this on the bed? Must be old Granny Smith left me a going away present. Is this supposed to be me? I have a long time before I look even remotely like this ugly thing. Good morning, beautiful.
Wow, that Janet seems like she could really get under somebody's skin. Until next time, keep those fires fed, and don't let anyone leave you in the dark.